So, this is Heaven Gate Act 5 from 2011. Last time on Heaven Gate Act 4, Neil, Courtney, Jessica, Jenny, Kiana, and Jesse gathered at the Eureka Army Base, where Brian began explaining how Mavis was found in the ice on Mars and has now taken over Area 51. Then Demonic showed up to tell the story of his previous life that was destroyed on Mars. The Lake Eureka High Security Army Base.
Neil? Do you remember when we were trapped in the gem? What God said about worlds before Earth?
Yeah. He said he wanted to know which was better, holy or demonic. So to experiment, he would populate planets with holy and demonic creatures, and that they would war with each other.
Correct. The last planet in his experiment was Mars, my home.
Heaven Gate, Hellgate the movie, Act 5. Mars, 6 billion years ago.
Back then, Mars had cities and vast green oceans. The demonics lived in the south and the holies in the north. The border at the equator had been maintained for centuries, but recent developments saw an increase in demonic killing parties getting across the border. In order to stay far, far away from the action, I moved my family to the far north. I was a scientist in gem development, mainly focusing concentrations of holy energy into gemstones in order to create weapons. It's important to note that back then I looked very different than I do now.
The test results? Still the same problem. What use is a weapon if the enemy has to already be dead to use it?
We were working on a gem that would instantly kill demonics in an area by sucking them into the gem. The problem was the demonic had to be wounded and weakened first, so weak that the demonic would already be moments from death.
We'll need to try to up the concentration of holy energy, but that's enough for the day. We'll pick it up in the morning.
Draco Mavis, a legend known all across Mars. His destructive power was unfathomable. As a member of the demonic army, his unit never lost a battle, but he had grown bored and left to pursue new forms of entertainment. How he was able to sneak his way that far north is beyond me. But on that night, our paths crossed.
What? Shh. Make a loud noise and you might startle me. Wouldn't want this blade to slip now.
This can't be happening. I don't want to die.
Oh, well, I don't want to kill you. If you cooperate, that is.
Anything. Just, please don't kill me.
You got a family?
Yes.
Take me to them.
I know I shouldn't have, but I was so terrified.
Oh my God, Demonic!
Daddy! We're here. What do you want?
Demonics can only do evil, and holies only do good. Those are the fates given to us at birth. Every cell in my body wants to spill your blood right in front of your family.
Please, no!
But let's see what happens when we go against our natures. This is one of those weapons you holies love so much. Take it. Now I want you to kill your family.
No, I can't.
Can't? Or won't? That's what I'm here to find out.
Please, we won't tell anyone you're here. Just kill them or I cut your throat. Please, no.
You have to the count of 3. Daddy, I beg you. 1, 2. Bam, bam.
What? What have I done?
Vroom. Beam of light from the sky.
For my crime, I was shot up to heaven to face God.
Interesting. Was that a gun firing? Did you see that light? Come on, it comes from the demonic house. It'll be trouble if they gang up on me.
The Holy Army pursued Mabus farther north into the Arctic. He fell into a glacial river. Splash. And was frozen in the ice. Not long after, the demonics gained the upper hand and took over all of Mars. Life was wiped from the planet, and soon after, life began on Earth.
Wait. I'll admit what you did was terrible, but plenty of people have done that and worse, and God never called them up, did he?
Humans have the ability to choose because they are born with no energy. I was born with holy energy. To do something evil was a crime against God himself. Normally people think of heaven as a place of peace and clouds, and normally they'd be right. But when I got there, heaven was completely aflame with brimstone everywhere.
Demonic, your crime is unforgivable.
I had no choice. I'm sorry.
To save your own life at the expense of your family's, I shall freeze your soul here until I find use for you.
When I awoke, billions of years had passed. On Earth, it was now the 1st century A.D. I don't understand. I
have granted you immortality. You will be sent down to Earth with this sword.
That's the gem we were working on.
Yes, I believe it will come in handy against an immortal foe.
Wait, did you say Earth?
Listen closely. A lot has changed.
The rest you know.
Demonic. How strong is Mabus?
He's stronger than God. Even in your 4th form, you wouldn't stand a chance. But Mabus is not immortal like the demons. You don't need to overpower him. You just need to get a killing blow.
But I still need the Jaeger sword, which means unsealing the Hellgate. Not necessarily. We got a plan. The Groom Lake facility, Area 51. No energy, huh? That explains why I was able to take control of your body before you were actually dead. Yes, my lord. Progress report. All the guns are being melted down to forge swords per your order. Good. I hate those blasted weapons the Holies used. The buildings are being broken down to create your castle walls, my lord. Should be done in a day. It's a strange world you live on. I could have a lot of fun here. Fun? I'd very much like to do battle with this demon slayer of yours. I want to fight Neil Jaeger. Act 5, end. Next time on Heaven Gate, Act 6. The plan to defeat Mabus is underway as the army begins amassing forces to infiltrate Area 51. But how will Neil fight Mabus without the Jaeger sword? And does he stand a chance alone against a creature more powerful than God? Credits! Story and art, Nathaniel Jaeger. For daily updates on the progress of the next issue, follow Jaeger Inc. on Twitter. Twitter.com/Jaeger_Inc. Again, that's defunct. And be on the lookout for a Facebook fan page coming soon. All right, let's dive into it. A bit to talk about right off the bat with this cover. One, let's see. I took a photo of Mars and I photoshopped it to put on a polar cap and some oceans. Which I imagine the oceans of Mars as green. I don't know if that's just a color match thing with Mars being red, or if like I heard something one time about like the way the minerals are on Mars. If it had an ocean, it would be green. I can't remember. And then this is our first full color digital version of Mabus. Besides the first issue's cover, but that colors were slightly off because he was frozen in the ice. And I would use this cover to pull colors from for covers to come when drawing Mabus, since this is supposed to be his default colors, but I can't do that because he's kind of semi-transparent, so the colors wouldn't be accurate if I came to sample the colors. So you're probably saying, Jaeger, why don't you just take the original layer and make it not transparent and then sample the colors? I can't do that. This is the only Heaven Gate cover where I don't have the original project file, because something happened between me making this cover and finishing the issue, and I can't remember what that was. It might have been, I think it might have been a ransomware virus. I think I got I got a ransomware virus a couple times back in the day, and that's a virus that basically locks down all the files on your computer and says that you basically demands money before it gives you access back to your files. Some are mostly this is done to big businesses now. Those are usually pretty straightforward about it, where they'll just be like, hey, this is a ransomware attack, give us this much money in Bitcoin, otherwise we're not going to unlock your files. This one that I dealt with was trying a bit more sneaky about it and tried to pose itself as an antivirus program and telling me that I needed to subscribe to the full version of the program so it could fix my computer, even though it was the one causing the issues. I remember it actually changed my desktop background to say, you have a virus. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's legit. I'm sure that's what actual antivirus programs do. He changed your wallpaper to say, you got a virus. So dumb. I didn't pay the ransom. I have backups, so I think I just had my friend help me reinstall Windows to get rid of the virus. Or I had an antivirus or something that was able to actually take care of it. But I remember that since I had done a backup last, I had made the cover to Heaven Gate 5. And so that file was gone. It wasn't on the backup. But luckily, I don't know if this is still the case, but at the time, if you tweeted a picture, Twitter kept that, unlike most social media, it did not reduce the file size at all. It would be in its complete resolution. It wouldn't, render it at a lower resolution to save up space, which is wild. But it came in handy because as soon as I had finished this cover, I had tweeted it out to show it off, to be like, because it's when the Twitter account was really just about giving people Heaven Gate updates. So I was like, here's the cover for the next issue. And so I was actually able to just go to my tweet and download the cover. It's just a JPEG. So I can't mess with the file. I can't mess with the folders or the layers anymore. But I was able to use that image for the cover for this issue. And then we go back. One thing I did not mention, we can see it better elsewhere. You can't see it too well in this issue. But Jenny's outfit actually is... So the idea is that, Jenny stayed the night at Neil and Courtney's, and she's changed out of her, her gi, her martial arts uniform. And she's actually wearing a Courtney outfit, an outfit that Courtney wore in Hellgate, which is the gray tank top with the lighter gray cardigan. Everyone else has new outfits. I actually really like Jessica and Kiana's outfits in this particular issue. I guess hopefully we'll talk about more next issue, but everyone's sitting down right now. So probably should have talked about it last issue or whatever. This is where I finally started with the flashbacks being grayscale, but not me fully coloring them and then just adding a grayscale effect later. I just did not color them. And it looks so much better. You know, I just did some pencil shading. Of course, this flashbacks to like issue 25 when Neil and Demonic and Hippo were trapped inside the gem with God. It's actually where Hippo's first appearance was. For the title page, I have a flashback to like Maebus slaughtering someone on Mars. This was mentioned in the last issue, but I didn't bring it up. The 6 billion years ago is wrong. That's too long. That's too long ago. I think I was confusing it with like the number of people on Earth at the time or something. I think we're up to like almost 9 billion now or something. But no, the Earth and Mars are not 6 billion years old. Like half of that maybe. So 6 billion years ago, this whole area around the sun would still be like a accretion disk of dust. But it was supposed to just be like pre the moon, I guess. Also, Deimos and Phobos should not be that big. Also, I'm pretty sure they didn't exist that long ago either. Even if I did get the correct like 3 billion years ago, I don't think Deimos and Phobos have been with Mars that long because they're just captured satellites, but whatever. This is our first look at the ancient society on Mars. You see these holies with their guns and their feathery ears, and the demonics, which I would later give them a different, more distinct name, but that's for another time. But as you can see, their outfits definitely suggest that Maebus's coat is for the demonic military. And do you remember these two guys? They were in Hellgate. The flashback issue, Hyeger and the Origin of the Gem, where we see Ban and Hyeger travel to a mountaintop to get the red gem. These two were there. They weren't alive anymore. It was more their ghosts, but they used to work on gem research with Demonic, and so they were in charge of crafting the red gem on Earth as ghosts. And that's how I know, like, this issue has been. That's how I know how long I had Heaven Gate in my mind, because that issue 21 of Hellgate, was setting up issue 5 of Heaven Gate several years later. Because these guys react to seeing Demonic. They're like, "Oh, Demonic, is that you?" And Demonic looks kind of like ashamed to be seen by them, because we now know because Demonic killed his family, you know. And as for Demonic's face here, I'm just not prepared to reveal what it looked like, so I just shaded his face in. And I kind of got the idea, like, I'd see this sometimes in manga, specifically Maison Ikoku. This one character is a widow, and the author decided to never show what her late husband's face looks like, and so this is how it would always be portrayed, is that it would just be shaded in, usually in flashbacks. If it was ever like a physical representation in the story, like a photo, there'd be like a glare across his face or something. I still really like this scene of Maebus. You see, we're reintroducing Maebus. They work with Demonic military. It's funny because we're going to get more about Maebus later, and it's all stuff that I did not have in mind when I wrote this issue. So this was literally the most Maebus was going to get fleshed out, until my best friend Kay started asking more questions because she really liked the character and had me thinking more about him, not just as, oh, he was part of the Demonic military and he got bored. Because of her, I thought out more, and that's how we got issue 12 that actually goes over his childhood. And we see, just because their faces would look very much like his, I blacked out their faces as well. And this issue just immediately looks so much better in grayscale than my colored pencil issues. But yeah, this is a very dark issue. And also these word bubbles are driving me nuts. You can tell I drew the word bubbles by hand and added the text later, and it doesn't always look like it fits right. I'm way more particular now about making sure everything like balances inside a word bubble and everything flows right. But yeah, bold of me to take a character and like make him do the most scummiest thing ever, like kill his family, and still hope the audience can forgive him and not just hate him. This is a good laugh. This laugh looks way better than issue 1 laugh from Mabus. Although I heavily referenced Light Yagami from Death Note. And this whole scene with him falling in the glacier still looks pretty good. And yeah, if you don't know what brimstone is, if you're like fire and brimstone, it's a biblical term. Brimstone's actually sulfur. So I drew sulfur rock. So the idea is that when God is mad, like heaven looks like hell. And then we reveal that the gem, if you recall, the gem that Demonic was working on in the past was to absorb demonics. Those are demonic energy, but they had to be severely weakened. So weakened that they were already going to die. So what's the point? Well, what if your enemy is immortal, like the demons of Earth? So you land a mortal blow on an immortal, and they would normally heal, but now they're weakened enough to be absorbed into the gem. That's how the gem on the Jaeger sword works. It's the gem that makes the magic happen. And then we cut to the Area 51 base, and we get a bit more. So what Mabus is doing here is he's kind of reading up, and it looks like that's in demon language there too. So he got a translator. Good for him. It looks like he's reading up on Earth stuff. So he now knows about the Demon Slayer, and he also knows that humans don't have demonic or holy energy. So this explains why he was able to take over Dr. Harrison here when Dr. Harrison was still alive and just had a little cut on his cheek. If Dr. Harrison, normally, he wouldn't be able to take someone over back on Mars because everyone had either demonic or holy energy, and that would prevent his own energy from taking them over. But once they were dead, he could control them. But here on Earth, he can do it to humans because they don't have any energy to begin with. Although now, Dr. Harrison very much is dead because he was since shot. You can still see the bullet wounds, some dried blood on his hazmat suit. You can see this wound here on his cheek is actually starting to decay. And yeah. That was Heaven Gate Act 5. Thank you for that, Redeem the Gamer Boy. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button, and I'd love to read your comments below. And make sure you're subscribed so you know when the next comic goes up. Also, check the description for a playlist of any readings you may have already missed. And if you'd like to read ahead, all of these comics are free on my website, YaegerComics.com. Bye!